Acting ASP Lall, Officer Lall. He joins me on set for the latest installment of Police and You. Officer Lall, always a great honor to be in your company. Welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Williams. Always a pleasure.
Let me ask, obviously the big talking point, the TTPS reopens corruption matter. Of course, the court made a decision and then the TTPS decided to go into, I would say, a deeper analysis of this particular case. This is to deal with the Grande 7. We haven't heard yet what's happening via the Five Rivers scenario. Is this a watershed moment? You have heard anything like this before? Is this being done, obviously, I would imagine, based on the public outcry? But is there any kind of a template or blueprint of a scenario like this in the past, or is this something new where the court would have made a decision and the TTPS decided to just do a deeper analysis of the said case?
Well, what transpires is actually part of the legal system. So if there are different avenues available to the TTPS, there's the ability to do a judicial review of the court's decision. There's the ability to appeal the court's decision. And since no evidence was led in this particular matter, I can say in relation to the 5 matter at this time, I don't have all the information at this time. However, in relation to the 7 persons, they have not been, no evidence has been led as yet. So the DPP can advise the police officers to relay the information, which is to bring them back before the court. Because what the court essentially does is discharge the individuals. Discharge means that the prosecution, if they have fresh evidence or they have further evidence, they could bring the matter before the court.
And I'm seeing they will have their court day next year, February 21st. Until then, what happens? Do they stay offline and just stand by to go back to the court system to have their case heard?
Well, it's upon the instructions of the Commissioner of Police. She will take the advice of the legal officers to determine what's the next step.
But the officers, clearly, they are not on the beat at this point in time. Once you're before the court, you have to be offline and then you wait to have your day.
Well, there's a process. There's the suspension, then the interdiction process.
Okay, understood. I mean, obviously, keep us posted, Officer Lall. We're going to monitor this. It's via our news cycle. If you want to read more on it, check out today's Guardian, page 6. I want to touch on the important talking point. We are into our 16 days of activism. And the TTPS, yourself, your colleagues hold a very important and pivotal role when it comes to enforcement. Yes, there's a suite of laws and policies in place to protect women and protect people basically from violence, the gender-based violence that we speak of. But of course, there is always that enforcement part where the perception, or we have heard cases where there's been a kind of dropping of the ball. Are there plans to tighten up to ensure that if there's a particular complaint, you act on it immediately, regardless if people say, oh gosh, no, leave him alone or leave her alone? What's the overarching culture and approach going into this 2025 and beyond as it pertains to gender-based violence, Officer Lall?
Well, what the Commissioner of Police has mandated is that all TTPS officers be alert and deal with all domestic violence matters as a matter of urgency, and also to deal with them on a case-by-case basis. And what we have also done, as you have observed on the last occasion, we had Ms. Riviere from the Victim and Witness Support Unit. So there's greater collaboration between the Victim and Witness Support Unit and the Gender-Based Violence Unit. The Gender-Based Violence Unit has actually been created, it actually joined together with the Sexual Offences Unit and the Child Protection Unit to create what we call the Special Victims Department. So focus is being placed on these individuals. Special training is also being given to these officers so that the approach towards these individuals are much humane and they adapt to the type of offenses that these individuals may have been, whatever experience they may go through. We are trying our best to deal with those situations and put enough power as it relates to investigations and resources and bringing persons into custody. What we have also done, we continue to develop a good working relationship with the judiciary of Trinidad and Tobago as well. Because as you know, the protection orders are issued by the family courts and the different courts throughout Trinidad and Tobago. So what we have done is we are working closely with the judiciary. So as soon as those protection orders are sent to us electronically, we will ensure that they are printed and served. And there's also that feedback. There's constant communication with the judiciary and the TTPS. Yes, we want to improve the amount of protection orders that are being served, and we continue to work with stakeholders.
How do you approach when threats are being made, when reports of threats, people stalking, looking to damage limb, life? Based on the training you're receiving now, is it a soft approach to that kind of scenario, or you'll go in kind of hardline iron fist to let the person issuing the threat know this will not be tolerated?
Definitely the latter. We are working on that at this time, and there's also the offense of harassment, where...
How you define a harassment?
Harassment is a course of conduct by an individual towards another person, and where that course of conduct may cause that person to apprehend either fear or some level of unease. Mm-hmm. And where it is one where the person believes that they are fearful for their lives, and this occurs more on 2 or more occasions, then the offense now becomes a serious offense.
And in that regard, you come into the police station, the charge room, make a report and hold on to your receipt. Make sure something is documented.
Make sure you have your receipt, get the number, rank and name of the officer who's conducting the investigation, ensure that you have your phone records available, and because that will form part of the investigation as well.
So harassment, I guess, will be different to extortion. That's a whole different scenario, because that is more business.
More business, and you see, in relation to extortion, they are demanding some sort of reward.
Yeah.
In relation to harassment, it's not really to say that you want some benefit. They may get some sadistic benefit by seeing that person in fear and concern. However, it's not monetary really. Mm. Yeah. And we are seeing it, and what we are advising individuals to bring the matter forward, make your reports. Keep your records of where you reported those, because those reports could form part of the evidence against the individual. Keep phone records, keep voice recordings, keep whatever letters that you may receive, keep your emails. All these things could build a case against that individual for harassment.
Great advice there, Officer Lall. We have a couple seconds before we get ready for the news. Any closing remarks?
Yes, thanks very much. And what we will be having, based on the 16 days of activism, we'll be seeing more and more of our officers from the Special Victim Department who will be out in their numbers, different divisions throughout Trinidad and Tobago. We'll ask individuals to look at our Facebook page on the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, and you will see where our officers will be sharing knowledge and our experience and ways in going forward in relation to gender-based violence.
Well said. Acting ASP Officer Lall, he joins us every single Thursday to bring much needed information. I hope you took heed and will follow suit as it pertains to any kind of infraction or injustice that might come your way. Officer Lall, sincere thanks.
Thank you very much, Mr. Williams.
Up next, we get ready for the 7 a.m. news update. Much more after 7. See you soon.